Hello.
Hello, hello.
How's it going?
I'm doing pretty decent.
Just on the dot as well. The Discord notification seems to have got people in here. So this meeting, I haven't really announced it on Twitter or anything. I just wanted to see how many people turn up without it being announced. Um, the last couple of meetings we've had Digital Hypno hosting them for us, which has been really good, but he's unavailable this week. So we're going back to a bit of a just questions and answers free form meeting this time around. Probably keep it quite short, see what people have to ask, if anything. There's been quite a bit of activity going on our side of things. We've had we just had the laser leaderboard survey go live late this week. So if you haven't filled that out yet, I'd recommend getting in on that. We've had about 1,500 responses so far, but it would be good to get about 10 or 100 times that number of responses. Yeah. So if anyone has questions regarding the survey or regarding laser, I know the other thing is that a lot more people have been trying laser out recently because along with the survey, we released a kind of video explanation of what laser is. And I think that's triggered a lot of people to give it a try again or give it a try for the first time. That's been good. We've seen a spike of users about 2 or 3 times the usual number. So, yeah, got anything to add to that, Spooky? What have you been doing lately? What's going on?
Well, apart from the multiplayer countdown timers, which allow the host to make like a countdown to start the match, as the tournament commands do in stable. I also kind of made a proof of concept auto start timers. So the server auto starts the match using a timer when at least one player is ready.
Yeah,
And
so
so
that's for the
that,
case of like what used to be host rotate, right? Which is now like the queuing system we have.
yeah, yeah,
So anyone can add beat maps to the queue and the game will automatically start after a set time.
yeah, pretty much. So yeah, that seems to work really well. I think it's probably gonna come this week. Assuming the other countdown changes come this week. Yeah, it's not that big of a change.
Yeah, cool.
Um, and yeah, I've been working on some vertex buffer optimizations that I've had in mind for like years now. Just finally kind of had a little bit of a breakthrough moment in my mind of how things should work. Um, it's getting some nice like reductions in memory usage and some increase in FPS. So
Yeah, so for those who
it's
aren't filled in on all the technical details, basically Laser has been in a really good state as far as like memory usage and allocations, which are the two like biggest concerns for us performance-wise, especially when using .NET as a language. It's been in a really good state except for the vertex buffer allocation, which is how we draw things to the screen, which has been shocking. So on entering song select, it was what, 300 megabytes of allocations or something?
it was 75. It's not allocations necessarily. It's just like 75 megabytes of stored, like completely persistent RAM.
Yeah,
Never goes
but there's
away.
also like a huge churn at some point. It's like I don't know how to trigger it, but you know the case, right? Where the game just
Yeah,
starts to
that
churn.
churn doesn't really allocate because it's pooled, but it does allocate like finalizable objects, which
Yeah.
can like induce more stutters.
Mm.
Um,
TLDR,
yeah,
there should be less stutters in the near future.
yeah, yeah. We'll see because there's a
Yeah.
lot of like I don't know, it's still like flickering and bugs here and there, and I have to go back to the drawing board a little bit.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
And I've been working on the skin editor primarily. We're getting to like the end of the road in terms of re-implementing all the features in Laser. There's obviously still a bit of work to be done on the editor side of things, but in terms of like gameplay, a lot of the focus has been moved to infrastructure and just getting everything in place and getting, anti-cheat and all the stuff set up that we need to turn PP and the rest of the things that people care about on. But one of the other areas which I wanted to address is like the user experience when you first come into Laser is really quite bad. It's very hard to find settings. It's hard to know all the new things which exist in the game. It's hard to get the game set up in the way that a lot of people coming across from stable expect it to behave. So I'm working on like the new user or the migrating experience coming into Laser for the first time and making sure that people can get the game working in the way they want. And first step of that was to make it easier to add more settings to like various components in the game. And yeah, I wanted to fix the skin editor up for that. So yeah, skin editor's in a lot better state. If you're watching the stream, you can probably see me playing with it. But basically now skin components can have settings, and I've also added like song select skin support, just the very basics of that. But yeah, just the fact that we can now have settings attached to skin components rather than all the settings being in the single scrolling settings pane should make things make it a lot easier for us to add more flexibility to the game and to skinning. Yeah, so that's cool. I also got like sprite import working for skinning, so you can just like drag an image into the game and have it be part of your skin. That'll be in not the current release has the new skin editor, but sprite support is going to be in the next update. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. And then I want to make like a tutorial or a wizard when you first arrive into the game, showing you the skin editor, showing you all the settings, kind of walking you through the game. Kind of tutorial thing which you can have running on the side of the screen, a checklist or something, and dismiss it whenever you want or bring it back, or yeah. Quick access to settings. So yeah, that's what we've been working on, I guess, on the Laser side of things. Also, yeah, so let me restate for anyone who's watching. If you have a question to ask about absolutely anything, there's a text channel you can ask in. There's you can put you can raise your hand in this voice channel and we'll get you in on the voice. Or you can ask on Twitch if you're watching there. We'll be running this meeting for like 20 minutes more, so if you have any questions, get them in. The other thing is that I am currently rerunning processing of all Laser scores to date, so scores from the last 2 years or so, and adding playtime incrementing and play count incrementing, all the statistics which weren't necessarily applied until now. We finally got all the pieces in place to allow us to reapply new statistics to existing scores. That'll be cool.
That's just rerunning the queue.
It's repumping all the scores to the queue and having them upgrade from any version that isn't 7 to version 7. So a lot of the really old scores were still on like version 2 or 3, and they don't have play count, they don't have hit statistics. Those will come in. And then the majority of the scores from like the last year have everything except for playtime. So yeah, if you're a Laser only player, you'll notice your profile playtime increasing over the coming days as the scores reprocess. And yeah, this is a good test because eventually we're going to have to run all the stable scores through this processor potentially to bring them up to date.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting that there's so many Laser scores. You say how many millions?
21 million. Keep in mind that's not all passes, it includes failed scores. I haven't deleted any scores at all yet because I wanted to make sure we can account for statistics that we want to. Where can you find the survey? If you go to the OS homepage, it's the latest news article, or the second latest news article because we announced another featured artist. It's the news article with triangles on it, I think. Hopefully they don't all have triangles.
Will there be plugins for the in-game tablet settings? I don't know if if we will be supporting plugins
Yeah.
or like integrating them ourselves, having like a whitelist that
Yeah,
kind of game
the
has.
common ones people want are like anti-chatter filters and stuff. We'll definitely have those, but they won't be as plugins, I don't think. Because like someone brought this up with the editor recently as well. It's like, are you going to add support for editor plugins? But making plugin support is a big endeavor, and it means you're having to support people making those plugins. And we already have enough systems we've added to the game that we're trying not to increase complexity right now.
Well, I would also just rather users not run arbitrary code.
That as well, yeah. The more ways we allow users to put code into the game, the harder it gets to keep the game in a sane state. People, people can use it as to cheat, or they could use it to do stupid stuff, which then breaks the game. And people are like, "Why is my game crashing?" Well, it's because you're running this plugin, which is interacting with the game in weird ways. So yeah, we want to avoid that. Just to
or they could download some third-party dodgy thing that is then like malware. Yeah.
Will standard be deprecated after laser release? No. If you mean stable, it'll still be usable for many years until people stop using it.
Will laser on phone and touch devices get an Ostdroid style tapping system for hitting streams and bursts? Yep. There's a big issue thread on that one.
Yeah, we can probably get that in
every meeting
sooner than later, right? We can just do it in a hacky way like it's been done for Tycho and Mania. Not a hacky way, but like a non-configurable way that will suit.
Yeah, like, honestly, I remember us talking about like using the hit receptors.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's a good idea for us anymore.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I don't know, your hands move around in OS. I don't know that you want to like.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very per rule set kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, with us, you kind of just want taps on anywhere on the screen that isn't your tracking finger to work, right?
Yeah.
That's how I would want it to work. I don't want to have my fingers on a certain place on the screen to tap.
Yeah, for sure. I was actually partly looking into that just a little bit over the past couple of weeks.
Oh yeah.
I just took like a 5-minute detour. And I think it shouldn't be too hard. I think the Mania one kind of provides a good direction.
Yeah.
Doing it.
Yeah. The Taiko one looks really cool. Like the video that you linked.
Yeah.
It's nice having the drum on the screen. Let's get Joven SP. He's been waiting for a while to speak.
Hello. Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Well, I have two questions, if I can ask, actually.
Yep, go for it.
The one you actually answered it. I was wanted to ask if OSU standard will be playable after many years, and so you said so. Okay, yep. So we can play it after like 5-6 years.
Yeah. So 5 or 6 years is probably the extent. Like we'll keep online support going for as long as we can. I would say like because we had stable fallback, and that was running for almost exactly 5 years after we stopped working on it. So I'd say 5 years is a good goal. But you know, if I would hope that after 5 years, most people have decided that laser is the way forward. If not, then we failed on our task of making laser awesome. So fingers crossed for that.
Okay, thank you so much. And the second question is, in the laser video you post on YouTube channel, you said that there will be game modes like we can make actually.
Yep.
I didn't understand quite literally what did you say. Like we can program in game, so we can make other game modes.
Yeah, basically, anyone with the programming knowledge can make new game modes, and eventually, like years down the line, maybe a year or two, we will allow you to like download those new game modes inside the game, and then you can play them and get leaderboard scores and whatnot. So it's basically a new way for the game to be customizable, to add some new dimensions to the game.
And the language we should know to make that games is C Sharp.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
mean,
we have a
the
very developed API and interface for making the game modes, which we call rule sets. So we've got some tutorials and some template projects you can start with and give it a go. It's pretty easy to get into, I think.
Okay, thank you so much.
No worries.
Thanks.
Last year, there is a proposal to create new bitmap category for tournament maps. Is there any follow-up? No. No, I think we decided we might make a label for that or something, but nothing on that front just yet.
In the new OsLaser video, showcased that you could update your laser within the options submenu in stable. When can we expect laser to be available from the drop-down menu in stable? I don't think we have any plans for the time being.
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, I've started to look into that. I would hope that we have that in within the next few months. I think that before that's added, we need to have some kind of leaderboards working and PP, because otherwise people are going to go in expecting those things to work and then not have them be like, why? That's one of the main reasons we've been holding back, or I've been holding back on getting more people in on laser, is because I wanted to have like everything that people expect there to be in the game before we push it out further. Because, you know, while we've been saying that it's released since 2017, until it has all the features that people want, it's going to be a loud voice of complaint. People are going to say it's not released and whatnot, because they know best.
Yeah.
I've sent an email about this, but will the 500 friend limit be increased? Friend limit probably won't be increased because there's some technical limitations there with the way that Bancho works, the stable side of things. I did look at increasing that once before, but it's a bit of a pain to do, and at that point I didn't do it because stable fallback was still running and it would have completely broken that. So we don't have that restriction anymore. May be able to look into increasing it. I don't know how high we would go, because people are just going to keep asking for it to be higher. We make it 1,000 and people will be like, I have 1,000 friends now, I want 2,000. I don't know.
The never-ending cycle.
Has work started on anti-cheat? Yeah, it's been going on in the background. I mean, I can't really say much about that, but obviously it's a completely different infrastructure, and one of the hard things is that it's not just Windows platform anymore. And if you're a gamer and you've ever tried gaming on Linux, you'll know that every game that has anti-cheat doesn't work on Linux. So the fact that we are already multi-platform and having to make the systems for every platform, and it's going to be slightly different for each one, it's a huge undertaking. So just leave it at that. That's one of the reasons that leaderboards haven't been completely implemented yet, because yeah, there's a lot to do.
Just can't get know you into here.
Yep.
Such a nitpick thing, but when will slider circles react to slider ticks, expanding to the rhythm on a slider tick? Yeah, that's a thing. The visuals of
the little bump.
Yeah.
Go on.
The whole visuals. It's in my backlog. The improved slider ball and follow circle animations. It's just like I have it like in my pin tab backlog.
Is another one in there, like replace the current theme with the new version of the gameplay skin?
No, no, not yet.
But
this is more for like classic mod, I guess.
Oh, okay. The classic skins, yeah. That's a very easy one.
Because there's also the fade thing that looks pretty jarring.
There's a pull request open for the fade, I think, pretty sure.
Yeah, that's the one, I think.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Definitely something that needs to happen, but yeah. It's currently in review.
The guy you added disappeared.
Oh.
If anyone else has a voice question, feel free to raise your hand. Suggesting a simple skin mixer. Oh yeah, yeah. The whole skinning infrastructure in Laser is working towards that, so don't you worry. It's gonna be like you'll be able to mix skins to your heart's content. Like select any hit circle for your skin from any skin you have loaded, and eventually from any skin ever, because it'll be able to download the online source.
Will oscillators appears light on the CPU as stable eventually?
It already is, right? CPU
Is it?
wise. Yeah.
I guess if you run it in like maybe single threaded, I would say
Yeah,
that
obviously multi-thread has a slight overhead.
yeah,
But
I
single
would say that's
thread,
maybe a little bit more
it's like
like
marginally more. It's like 10 or 20%, and it's lower at times depending on where you're looking.
yeah, it's just doing a lot more in terms of like the hierarchical component of everything.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and optimization is an ongoing thing. It's always going to get better. Like,
Yeah, like we still haven't offloaded a lot of stuff to the GPU that we could.
yeah.
Vertex processing and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, don't worry too much about performance because we have a lot of things up our sleeves still. A lot of things we can improve on.
How do we know which UI design on Figma is ready to be implemented? That's a good question.
We just have to ask Flight, to be honest, because we don't know either.
Yeah, like the playlist multiplayer ones are still, I think they're in the work in progress.
Yeah.
Endlessly there.
Some of the survey questions are really tough to answer. Will be interesting to see the results. Yeah, I've been looking at the results. That was a very old thing I just read out, by the way. It wasn't a recent comment. The results are looking pretty good. I like what I see there. So it'll be cool to release them for everyone to look at. I think there's some good information coming from it.
Collections are a really basic implementation in
Yep.
Laser, and it's pretty hard to add a map. Do we plan on changing the UI for collections to be more like stable?
Stables is pretty shit.
Yeah.
All said and done. But yeah,
I would hope that we can do it better than stable.
yeah.
The current implementation is very minimum viable product.
Yeah, I mean, I'd want a drag and drop thing where you can drag into collections, or a selection mode where you just click multiple maps, and they get added to the current target collection or whatever. There'll be something we do to make it a lot easier to quickly add maps.
Yeah.
Or even like adding all maps that are matching the current filter criteria, that kind of thing. There's a lot of different paths we can take. It's a bit of R&D.
Yeah, and as for like the extent of taking the collection system forward, it's like even in stable, I think a lot of people have requested like filters and stuff like that that we want to eventually add. So we don't want to keep it as basic as stable anyway.
Will multiplayer rooms be supported, which can be accessed from both clients? No. Multiplayer is always going to be separate, and that's just because it's a completely different infrastructure. So not much to be done there. But as a result of it being completely different, Laser is going to have a lot of new stuff which we couldn't ever imagine having in stable. So, for the next 5 years, you'll have the option of the old or the new multiplayer style, and you can play both depending on what you feel like, what you prefer.
Do you think we can toggle follow points and skins without accessing the editor or cloning the skin? If
Without
by editing
accessing
you
the
mean the
editor.
skin editor, I think this is pretty fit for the skin editor.
Yeah, it'll definitely be in the skin editor.
Yeah. If you mean by like the paint editor, yeah, I would hope that we can disable it in game.
Oh, the paint.
A little checkbox.
I was like, what's the paint editor? Oh, yeah. What goals do you have in mind for the near future, like until summer? So I'm guessing that's the US summer, which is 2 seasons from now. So the next 6 months. We do have a roadmap which shows our rough goals. You can get to that from GitHub. Or I don't know. We probably need to link that better. But short-term goals, getting the user experience better on Laser, as I mentioned, finishing my infrastructure work to get everything in place so we can have stable scores and Laser scores coexisting next to each other. It's a lot of tidying up work. And then I don't have any, personally, I don't have any like big things I want to see added to Laser. There's a lot of small things like the ability to update beatmaps or repair beatmaps as it's going to be. Improving the skin editor more, finishing up some of the missing features on the beatmap editor. And yeah, just a lot of loose ends to tie up, I think. It's going to be the next 6 months.
Redesigning song select, hopefully.
Yeah, a lot of the
Fingers
we
crossed.
definitely need to get all the UI, because currently Laser has like 3 different generations of UI implemented, and to my eye it looks really jank as a result. Like every screen is slightly different, and yeah, the Flight's done some really good work with his latest design versions. Once we get them all in place, it's gonna feel a hell of a lot nicer, more congruent. Not many voice questions today, but a lot of text ones. Right now in Stable, there's an option to disable mouse buttons in play mode, which from my experience does not include breaks. Could there be an option to disable for the entire runtime of the song? Well, if it's only the pause key that you are concerned about, in Laser you can just unbind pause from the mouse button and bind it somewhere else. So I think that's the best option there. Does Laser work with Open Tablet drivers? Yeah, you can just turn off the in-game ones and turn on, and it'll use the Open Tablet ones if you have them loaded externally. Any reason why spinners don't have capped RPM? They do.
Oh, well, RPM isn't, but the amount of
The
scores.
scoring is, yeah.
And the reason why is just because it's simplified.
Yeah, and because you kind of do want to see what you're spinning at.
Yeah. That being said, we do need to work on spinners a little bit.
Yeah, just a bit. As pointed out, you can kind of cheese them.
Yeah.
Because they don't have any kind of acceleration curve right now. And there's a reason for not having that added until now, because that's one of the... I think that's one of the areas of Stable that is the worst. Just the whole spinner logic. To the point where I mean, I think both of us tried to fix spinner replays multiple times, and it's just like, no.
I think it was you and Tom.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I've also had people like come to me recently being like, "Hey, are you gonna ever fix spinners?" And I'm like,
Speaking of collections, what are your thoughts on multi-layer collections? Probably not, but yeah, I think that's a bit too complex. But we'll probably we'll continue to iterate on the collection system, I think, to a point where you shouldn't need multi-layer collections. Will regular user organize... Can regular users organize playlists for custom prize pools? So you're thinking about, I think this question by Pyrozen is suggesting that the prize allocation would be automatic based on like a supported tag purchase up front by the organizer or something. That sounds like a very much a stretch goal. I don't know if we'll get to that level of automation, but you're free to use the playlist rooms for that purpose yourself. I think that's one of the main goals of having that system in place. Can you make the chat multiplayer chat overlay turn on or off? You can hit Shift Tab to do that. If you want some things toggled on and some things toggled off, that's one of the things I'm currently working on in the skin editor. It's the ability to choose which gameplay elements are hidden when you hide the HUD. So you'll be like, no, I actually always want to see my accuracy even when the HUD's hidden. And you can do that after probably the next release. So that'll be pretty nice. More customization about how the HUD displays during gameplay. Yeah, so that's 30 minutes.
Do you think that eventually we're gonna have like the feature request subforum where you have stars that you can expend
For feature requests?
Eventually, yeah, use that for laser.
Yeah, I mean, right now there's the GitHub discussions, upvoting stuff. I don't know.
Doesn't seem to be working all that well.
Going forward, I mean, I'd probably like to go back to forums for feature requests if we can, but that's thinking a bit further ahead, I think. I don't think Peppy is reading this chat. I am reading this chat. Will replays be resubmitted when the laser gameplay system is used for global leaderboards? Like how slider heads have accuracy in laser, would an SS in stable be converted to match how the replay would play in laser?
No, because it'll use the classic mod, right?
Yeah, so anything submitted in stable will use the classic mod, and in theory it should behave the same.
For the most part.
And even watching the replay on laser should behave the same. For the most part. As much as we can make that work. There may be some edge cases.
Yeah. Specifically combo drops, like slider end combo drops, are not a thing in laser.
Yeah.
Could there be max PP on song select map details? I have heard people wanting that, along with like difficulty attributes.
Yeah, max combo, max PP. I think they deserve to be on there.
Yeah.
For sure. I think we'll get the song select update, the design update done first before adding new settings.
Yep. I mean, there's no design for that even right now. Like a visualization for the difficulty attributes. So.
Daru asks, how about layering support for the skin editor? Like you can set an element to be below another element. Yep. Yeah, layers are another thing which I'm actively working on. May not be as powerful as Photoshop layering, but you'll be able to, at very least, change the depth of items.
There's a minor difference in gameplay with stacked sliders.
Make an issue. Make a discussion.
Yeah.
Will you add back Control A for auto pick auto mod? No. I think Control A is used for text selection now, but you can use Control Enter for the same purpose. Yeah, I think we should probably leave it about there, like 30 minutes-ish.
That was pretty chill. Got
through a good number of questions. Not many voice questions. My voice is getting a bit tired from reading everything out, but yeah. So if you, just to reiterate, we do have a survey running right now, which is talking about laser and leaderboards and stuff. If you haven't answered that yet, please do so. It's the second latest news post on the OS website. And that's running for another 1.5 weeks, I think. But yeah, the next meeting will be in 2 weeks from now, and I think Digital Hypno will be back to host it for us.
I want people to like suggest topics for us.
Yeah, definitely. If you have a topic which you think could last for a whole meeting, like something which needs some in-depth discussion, then definitely bring that up with one of us and we'll consider it. Bring it up in this meeting thread if you have something on your mind already. But yeah, other than that, let's call it there.
Yeah, even game mode specific topics, I think is fine.
Sure.
For example, I'm sure like the Tycho playfield
Oh my
size
God.
could be
10
Alright.
meetings later. Okay, well, thanks for coming along. Thanks for listening.
Thanks everyone. See you all next time.
Later.